This is the first episode in a new series, one where we will be going through the entire history of World of Warcraft in chronological order, from the very beginning to right now. This will be as up to date as we can make it, from all the new information we've received over the last few expansions. So don't forget to like and subscribe and come. Take a seat by the fire as we start from the very beginning. We begin at the dawn of time. Before recorded history, the events that take place here are truly unfathomable. The true origins of the known universe are shrouded in mystery. We have but short passages and glimpses into the incomprehensible. But it begins with a great clash of cosmic forces. The first ones, often referred to as the progenitors, are ancient godlike beings who are the original architects of the known universe. Using a magic more akin to mathematics, they wove the great tapestry of all we have come to know, each one giving a part of themselves to bring the 6 greater magical forces of the universe into balance. These being the light, void, order, disorder, life and death, each violent force pushing and pulling on each other until it reached an equilibrium, and thus the framework was drawn. It is said that upon this frame the universe grew and expanded like a fungus. Each intersection bore a new force, born in the infinite fractals. With their servants the Automa, these ancient architects set about creating the frameworks. Inside workshops of creation known as the Zereths, in each of the greater cosmological force domains, they conceived of the pantheons, awe-inspiring beings of terrible power, and set them to task of governance and maintenance of these frameworks. What became of these gods is now lost to the eons of time. They may no longer exist, or they may slumber in our midst. All that is truly left is the constructions they left behind, most now crumbling away to the ravages of time, and their known history falls silent. There are, however, some very significant events that we are aware of, some that happened in this intervening time, but are without date. These are as follows. Within the Pantheon of Death, now known as the Eternal Ones, a civil war had broken out. Soval the Arbiter, who was responsible to judge all souls who arrived in the afterlife. In the belief that the creation of the first ones was flawed, he attempted to overthrow and steal the sigils from the other Eternal Ones, to use them to gain access to Zereth Mortis, the first workshop of the Shadowlands. From here he would remake the universe in his image, to stand against a terrible threat he had foreseen. He was unsuccessful, however, and as punishment befitting his terrible crime, his fellow Eternal Ones would banish him to the worst place imaginable. They would have him watch over the Maw forevermore. This wasteland for the damned was an inescapable prison for the most vile and irredeemable souls. Powerful runes were carved into his flesh to ensure his submission. He would be forevermore known as the jailer of the damned. After this, another Eternal One named Sire Denathrius began making moves of his own. He created a powerful race in his image. He would name them the Nethrazim, vampiric dreadlords designed to be the ultimate spy, and loyal only to him. After engineering a series of events, he would banish them from the Shadowlands. Unbeknownst to the other Eternal Ones, this was all part of the greater plan, allowing his spies access to the other forces of the universe, and they would report back with their findings. His bid for power was ultimately successful. and he would begin to scheme ways to use this new, intimate knowledge to increase his sphere of influence. The Pantheon of Death, however, was not the only force to be going through turbulent times. The Pantheon of Order, known as the Titans, would also see significant upheaval at this time. One of their order was Sargeras, their greatest warrior and defender. He would fight the forces of chaos that had begun to spread like a plague in the great dark of the universe. In the name of order, he would imprison the seemingly endless tide of demons. But eventually, over time, something subtle began to change within this noble champion. Another Titan, Agramar, was sent forth by the Pantheon to aid Sargeras in his impossible task. They agreed to split their focus to better combat the chaos. It was in this time that Sargeras saw something terrible. A world soul, powerful spirit beings housed within the center of a world, had been completely infested by the void. The product of the dark soul would be a nigh unstoppable force, even for the mighty Titan. Repulsed by this, he chose to cleave the world in two, destroying the planet and killing the nascent world souls slumbering within. He returned to the Pantheon to tell them what he had seen, and then was condemned for his actions. They believed the soul could still have been saved, but they had not seen what he had seen, he thought to himself. How the demon tide could not be stopped, that each one he cut down would simply return again, and that forces greater still plotted to corrupt their perfect order from behind a shadowed veil. Isolated and chastised by his comrades, he began to sink into a darkness he could not defeat. Despair and doubt won, and he concluded the only way to really save a flawed universe was to destroy it, and spare the living its inevitable fate. The prison he once created to hold the demons, named Mardum, he now shattered, unleashing the horde upon the universe once more. The surge of fell demonic energies that had coalesced within were unleashed suddenly, twisting his form to now reflect the blistering madness within. He gifted his power to the newly freed demons, gave them a choice: follow him or be destroyed, an ultimatum that, unsurprisingly, convinced most of the demons to follow him. Those who did not were summarily brought to heel, as they set off to scour the universe in emerald flames. But this burning legion did not go unnoticed for long. As worlds and civilizations began to crumble before them, Sargeras and his legion killed a constellar. These are a powerful race of constellation-like beings that work with the Titans, often left to watch over the worlds that have been reshaped and brought order. This death was sensed by another of the Pantheon, who came to investigate. Agramar, his former student, was the first to learn of the betrayal and challenged Sargeras to single combat. The clash was both impressive and destructive, but ultimately no victor would emerge, and Agramar, now gravely wounded, was forced to retreat. These actions set the stage for many of the future events of World of Warcraft, which we plan on covering in the upcoming episodes. But for now, this is only the beginning, so don't forget to come back anytime.